All right. I almost pressed stop streaming just now rather than the scene change. This is where my head's at right now. This is where the head's at. It's not ideal. And this is not yet zoomed in. Strange. Oh, because I've had a computer change since then. That's why. I have been to this website before, but not on this machine. So it makes sense. Hey, everyone. Good to see you. Yeah, Jonah was like, everything's a mess today. I was like, oh, it's Jonah. And I was like, and I said the syllable Joe. I was like, it's Jonah, right? I'm pretty sure it's Jonah. It is Jonah, I know it is. But in that moment, my brain was like, wait. That's fine. It's always a challenge to recall everyone's name and handle, you know? Okay. The tunes are Jet Force Gemini, by the way. Oh, hi, Isla. Hello. Are you finished your breakfast? She always comes to inform me when she's done eating. She'll just like walk up and put her chin on my lap and be like, that was delectable. 5 stars. You just love this place. Keep coming back, eh? You keep coming back, yeah. Let me see your head. Just here. Sweetie. Good girl. Get on your bed. On your bed. Come on. That's her bed back there, by the way. They're all beds. She has like 15 beds in the house. It's all the furniture. The yoga mat downstairs. They're all beds. Okay. Hey, everyone. Thank you again for your patience. This is a little show called Real Talk. Did you know? We're gonna look over some demo reels today. One from Hovig Sarkissian and one from Luis Menchaca. It's a pretty sick dog bed, right? We always, my wife and I always joke that whenever anything resembling a bed arrives in the house, we always put on her voice and be like, at last, finally, a bed. Finally. Yeah. So, we are taking a look at Luis and Hovig today. Luis, we had a look at back in March, actually, of this year. So this is V2.0. Luis, I'm gonna level with you. I can't recall your reel at all. I don't know if that's because it was inherently forgettable or because I'm just an old man and my memory is going. I imagine it's probably more the latter than the former. But we'll have a look here. I imagine it'll probably come flooding back to me as we dive in. But oh, Isla, yes, I know you're right there. I know. Just putting her chin on my lap. Okay, let's pause Jet Force Gemini. Let's pause that Isla. He's so bossy. Okay, a little chin scratch. Pause. The Goldwood Invasion. Yeah, this. Okay, wonderful. Okay, let's do Hovig first, because I always have a tendency to do more on the first one. Luis is V2, so it should take less time, but we'll see. Okay, so just a refresher for everyone. This is Real Talk. We're going to be looking at some game audio demo materials from these two. We're going to be looking at it from a few different angles, a few criteria. Here it is. There. We're looking at presentation, material selection, content quality, and distinction. And I'll be attempting to ignore my bossy dog while we do this. Isla, go on your bed. Go on. Go on. Scoot. 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 Go on. Go on. Oh, she's so needy right now. Jeez. My wife's still in France, actually, so she's been stuck with me. You confused, hey? Where's mom, huh? Where's mom, though? So, presentation first up. We're looking at the website. If there's like some brand identity considerations, if things are easy to find, if Like how's the bio looking? All that stuff, kind of everything besides the sound. And then for the presentation of the demo reel, things like how long it is. We got 106 here, and we got an hour 37. This is not the video. We have 106 and 108. Killer. Everyone just staying in that 10x margin. Wonderful. We'll look at the length. We're looking at flow. Looking at titling stuff. We're looking at the splashes, beginning and end. All these things. Transitions. I hope you have some sexy transitions today. That'd be amazing. It's always nice when that happens. Not very common. It's probably the least common thing. Like of all the check boxes that we kind of go over each time, I think that deliberate, like considered transitions are probably the rarest thing. And they hit so hard when they happen. I love it. I just love it so much. We'll see. And then for the next thing, material selection, we're looking at the content of the reel, what pieces have been chosen to feature, what we're suggesting with those selections, what we're communicating as far as, what kind of projects you've worked on in the past and what kind of things you might look to work on in the future and what your skill sets are like and so forth. Hopefully we have an idea of those things just by watching your reel. Occasionally we got to kind of dive deeper and see if it's suggested in the bio or something, but ideally it should just be like abundantly clear from the pieces in the reel as far as what you want to be working on and so forth. So the next thing, you see her? She's still right here. She's so bossy right now. What's going on? It's just like she's nosing my lap over and over again. She's like, hey, where are those scratches at? You're so bossy. Can you go on your bed? Can you? On your bed. Go on. Go on. Go on. Oh, she's at my feet now. Okay. All right. All right. Fine. Sorry. Content quality. Just is it good? Is there room to improve somewhere? We often come at these things from the angle of those 6 elements of an engaging mix. We got balance. We got frequency range, we got dynamics, dimension, panorama, interest, all this stuff. If we can have room to improve somewhere, then we should do it for sure. All right, and the last thing, distinction. Just are you standing out in some positive way? As there are a lot of people who want these same gigs. And now, more than ever, with all the layoffs this year, it's been a pretty tough year as far as the economy and this industry is concerned. So, man, it's even more important yet. There's some folks who I personally believe should have been hired last week, yesterday, a month ago, and they're still like on the hunt hard. So it's more than ever. It's pretty important to be standing out in some way, And that could be any way. It could be that your stuff just is amazing. It could be that your site is really tight in terms of brand identity. It could be that you have been doing personal projects that are really impressive. Like, hell, the very first Real Talk we ever looked at was Barney Oram, and he was doing his like everyday recording blog, Like I still recall that. This is what, 2016, 2017 we looked at this thing. Goes a long way just to do something that other people might not be doing in the same way, All right. And with that, I think we can probably get diving in here. Before I do, I want to say hello to the chat a little bit. We got a Louis and a Luis here. Louis the 15th is chilling. Luis, by the way, kind of jumped in last minute into this slot because we had a cancellation. So thank you for that. Makes my life easier. Appreciate it. And Josh Adam Bell rolling in, of course. Loves the bed, as we said. John, good to see you. Yanni. Kevin. Paracha. Good to see you. Ellie Font. Oh, Ellie. As in, is it Ellie or Eli? Like the one I've talked to on Twitter? It's been a while, but perhaps same one. Who's to say? And Dognet is hard lurking. All right. Yeah, get packed, my bro. It's my brother there. We're going to see our mom in like, I don't know, under 24 hours. Soon. Is it Ellie or Eli? Eli. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I know when a person's same name, it's Ellie. So there you go. Good to see it. We're going to roll in. We're looking at Hovig first. Let's do it. Okay. So we got home, we got portfolio, we got about and contact. Hovig Sarkissian is a sound designer with some mics, 6 mics up top. It's not an XY pair. It's like a UVW XYZ pair. Let's roll down. About me. We'll come back to that in a second here. Let's have a glance around first. So this is all just vertical. Portfolio scrolls down. And about scrolls down. Yes. Okay. CV resume. Okay. Games that inspire. There you go. Stardew Valley. Eric, he's rolling in. Very nice. Sound redesigns, implementation, game jams, contact me. Sorowski. What's up, pal? Arturia. I got one of those right here. Not the same rig, but Arturia at least. We got various links to various things. Okay. These are kind of like low quality images. Why is that? Just because I'm zoomed in like crazy? I don't think it's why. Or maybe it is actually. No, it looks like it's the low quality image. I don't know. It's all fuzzy. Anyways, not a big deal. What we got on Instagram? What we got? We got almost nothing with sound, Hovig. Oh, I'm not logged in. Looks like nothing, actually. Looks like a lot of landscape and stuff. In which case, sure, just be aware that, yeah, if it's your professional audio page, right? So linking to things that don't have professional relevance is sometimes a question mark. Like, what's the benefit there? Unless you're just looking to make friends off your website, I guess. That's possible too. I saw the air wiggles, yeah. Yeah, cool to see. Let's read a bio, shall we? I'll zoom in a bit more, just a hair. It's pretty small, I think, at 100%. It's pretty small text. Very small, look at that. Maybe a consideration. Could pump it up a little bit. I guess it's kind of, maybe you think it's long-ish. You want to make the text smaller to not seem so long. I don't know. About me. Hello, my name is Hovig Sarkissian, and I am a Los Angeles-based sound designer and audio engineer specializing in interactive game audio. My sound adventures began way back with a guitar in my hand and an ever-expanding board of eyelashes, like nosing my foot, an ever-expanding board of effect pedals and synths, which I would endlessly tinker with to find the wackiest and weirdest sounds I could create. This is one sentence, pretty long. I continued on to develop both my music and audio production skills at UC Riverside and Citrus College, where you would find me in various world music ensembles, prepping mics and sessions in studios, and even doing live sound at The Smell in down. I gotta take a breath here, Hovig. This is also one sentence. And doing live sound at The Smell in downtown LA. All right. But, is it one sentence? Let's find out. But my sonic journey would eventually lead me to focus on sound design for games. Period. All right. With my technical groundwork acquired at School of Video Game Audio, I am always looking for new game jams, projects, and audio teams to explore sound with. I love discovering, experimenting, and creating all types of sonic mishaps and beeps, with a personal liking to magic, spells, not magic spells, maybe also magic spells, and all things arcane and medieval fantasy. That's fun. So grab a mic and let's collaborate. Grab a mic? Who are you talking to? Outside of gaming and sound design, you can find me tabletop gaming, watching anime, and collecting vintage Lego. That's cool. It's a fun last sentence. Okay, so I don't know what you want to do yet, but this is not the first thing we'd look at for sure. We'd look at the reel first. So hopefully the real is clear. Grab mic is like kind of a strange thing to say, unless you're talking to like a senior sound person at some studio, I guess. That could be what you're saying. It's possible. Excuse me. All right. We have various things. Reaper, Pro Tools, Ableton Live, Wise, Fmod, Unreal Metasounds, Unity, UE4 and 5, Serum, Faceplant, Pigments, RX9, Sound Toys, Kilohertz, excuse me, FabFilter. These are great, and so are these. And Tonstrom, I haven't heard in a while, but yes, sure. Okay, and various game things. Playing Sea of Stars, very nice. A Canada production. Games that inspire. Banjo, Persona 5, Breath of the Wild, Hollow Knight, Splatoon, Elden Ring, Stardew Valley, FF7 remake, Bloodborne. Cool. So it's pretty across the board. Like Stardew Valley and Bloodborne are pretty opposite games. Like quite opposite. But there's some common threads here, like these two and this one. And certainly Bloodborne as well, of course. Bloodborne, Elden Ring. All right. Well, oh, jeez. I don't know if you can hear that. My dog just burped very loudly. Yes, good breakfast. Okay, let's watch a reel. Oh, I see this thing again. I keep seeing this clip. It keeps happening. Is this a test somewhere? I wonder if it is. I learned recently that like Hexany has a clip they use for, or they've used here and there for sound redesigns, and it's one we've seen a bunch. So I wonder if. Okay. All right. Oh, this is off your main reels that you're saying? The Horizon clip? Yeah, it's on. I've seen this probably, geez, over a dozen times easily. It's pretty common. All right. I saw this too. You see this? This is like too wide for the the rectangle pane here. Like this kind of embossed, beveled thing goes to here, and then this is such a nitpick. This does not matter at all, but I just did see it. So you see this? It goes like off the side. It goes further than the edge, and then here it doesn't meet the edge by 1 pixel. Kevin, shut up. Shut up. No one cares. Let's go full screen. Turn off my side chain, and we're good to go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Cool. Very nice. Oh, do I have a applause button? I don't know if I do. Do I? Here it is. Sure. I wasn't sure if I'd open that or not. Cool. All right. Some cool stuff in there, some confusing stuff in there. I think there's some really solid sound design. That was a freaking Ori sound, if I've ever heard one. That was so Ori. You nailed that one for sure. The like all lows, all highs, you know? This one right here. Yeah, big with a high chime up top. That is Ori through and through. Very nice. The part right before it is not as Ori. It's a bit more synthy than like kind of, yeah, like transparently synthy than some stuff. But okay. Yeah, Hovig, nice work, pal. There's some really great stuff in here. So let's talk about some presentation things first. So it is 108. I had no problem, or sorry, 106. I had no problem watching the whole thing through. I was happy to. More than happy to. Fun splash. So this is not an ideal place or even format for a title, being like you watched into God of War and right away we have kind of like white on a light background, you know? It's not a great look. It's just, you can't go wrong. Like it's right here, see, look at this. Like white on, they put black behind it. And they did that because it makes it easier to read regardless of what's behind that text, you know? Like it's right here. That's so funny. There's like a comparison in the same video pane right there. It's just, yeah, you can't go wrong. You might as well throw something black behind it and move it up. Put it like here instead. You know, it just competes with UI. There's no point. So low. Yeah, change those lower thirds, yo. And then, of course, you must be familiar with the Zvi-Sherman method, right? You must be. Transient gamers? No? You know, make it fade to like that level and then leave it there. Even a bit before that, perhaps, like there. And leave it at that transparency, opacity for the remainder of the clip. Leave it visible. Can't hurt, you know? And then for transitions, what do we got? We got one here. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Seems deliberate. Big attack. Big parry. Very nice. Into what? Not as sexy. Into this one. But the first one was cool. I felt like, I mean, this kind of goes in transition stuff too, but just in terms of overall flow, I did feel like I did not have time to find my footing with this God of War clip. The transition kind of staying action-packed, like we're going from action straight into more action, right? Like it makes sense. But it's so short. You know, this is, how long is this clip? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's like 6, 7 seconds tops. Pretty short compared to the rest. I mean, Ori's pretty short too, but I kind of like it because it's just, it breathes, you know? It's like a full phrase. It's nice. I think it just, this one feels strange to me here because the clip right before it, I mean, look at this, we're at 23 seconds. And then it's like, and then 6 seconds. Like it's a really quick clip compared to that one. So yeah, I feel like, I mean, we can talk about the Metroid clip too. That might even be a good solution, but we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, flow wise, I did feel like I was being yanked around a bit here. I couldn't find my feet. And then I kind of was allowed to calm down here a bit. This is a nice establishing shot here. It's like slow and I was like, okay, got it. Nothing's happening. I can like, okay, got it. I know where we are now and moving on. You know? Yeah, again, transition here is kind of just crossfade, right? Not even crossfade, just goes. Hard cut. And then here, crossfade is sorry, the transition is just a crossfade. And then here it is what? I assume crossfade. Yeah. So kind of inconsistent transition stuff. I was hopeful after that very first transition, but then nothing else really happened there. So it seemed like you kind of did your best for mapping transitions between clips you'd like already done. Because typically when we see a demo reel where it's like really obvious that they've thought through, or like all the transitions are quite deliberate, if that's the case, it's likely the person like made that edit first and then designed it, as opposed to they just happened to work on these 4 clips that go together nicely. Yeah, Hovig, exactly. It's hard to find the right clips of what you've worked on. As far as like where you can fit things together, it's not an easy thing all the time. You kind of have to be a bit lucky in that case, right? So yeah, if you do, this is not to say, again, like it's not to say that you must make this crazy, awesome transitions demo reel thing or something, but just be aware that, yeah, when those demo reels happen, they really stick out. Like they really, really stick out. Because again, no one does that. Because it's hard. It's hard and it's time consuming. So it's and also it just requires a certain level of like kind of creative awareness in terms of, and even just ability in terms of like editing and direction and vision and that kind of thing. So it's not very common. I think we're looking at, I'm sure we've looked at upwards of 400 reels at this point on Real Talk, and we've seen as far as demo reels being edited front to back, like solid, really mindful, considered transitions, we've seen that like under 10 times. I mean, it's got to be true, right? I can think of a few of them, but yeah, it's so uncommon. So when things like this happen, it's nice, but yeah, the rest are like, it's fine. Like the rest of your transitions, Hovig, aren't bad. They just aren't special, that's all. Okay, so next thing, let's look at the end, the very end. We fade. Okay, cool. So that's fine. It can't hurt to have your contact on here, like your email or something, It's right there. I mean, why not, right? It's one small consideration. Or even like your website or something. Like you don't really know how people are seeing this reel. Could be a direct to Vimeo thing. If they're on this page, then what do they see? That's there, I guess. It is there at least. But yeah, I just think there's no downside to just making it easier to get in touch with you, So let's talk about some material selection. So this is all redesigns. We got redesign across the board. So you claim in your about to have skills in Wise, Fmod, and UE, and Unity and stuff. So do you have anything showing us that? You do. Check it out. Let's have a look at this. What we got? I'll click the left thing because it's on the left. Okay, different intro. So that's not the best look because this tells me this is older. Right away. So I'm like, when was this done compared to when the other one was done? 7 months ago. It's not crazy old, but you might as well just re-export it with that intro from here, And also, why isn't your, like, this image is so nice. This is fun. We'll put a thing together. It looks nice. Why not put it right here? And get rid of these UVW XYZ mics. Right? Yeah, and so the thing is, my question of, like, just now, right now, my, like, hypothetical question of, but have you done implementation work and stuff? Because if you want to work in a larger studio, it's entirely possible that it may be somebody's job to go through and kind of screen candidates a bit and just see, like, do they have these skills necessary? They might just, like, glance at a reel. You're not sure what they might do, actually. So it can't hurt just to answer some questions right away. Like Yanni is saying, having something in your reel of your UE5 work or Unreal or Wise stuff or whatever, right? Like having this in a reel isn't maybe not the sexiest thing you might feel like, but
Hi.
It isn't awful. Also, this is again quite different as far as the intro. It's different font, different everything. No sound even. Yeah, it just can't hurt to have everything really tight, Hovig, you know? Just have everything with that same intro. You have it there. Not there. Not there. And there. So it's just sort of, it's very random, you know? Can't hurt. Half people tell you to have implementation reel, half say not to. I mean, I just don't see the downside, honestly. It's if that, I mean, we talk about this all the time on Real Talk, but it's the idea of putting yourself in the shoes of a recruiter, somebody who is tasked with, charged with going through applications for a company and just parsing that, right? And just saying, is this person a good fit? Do they have the skills required? Do they seem awesome? Whatever. And from this alone, it seems like you want a studio gig. I mean, Ori is pretty small. It's like the one thing that's kind of out of place in here. The rest are all certainly larger studio projects. Ori was, you know, pretty small team, smallish by comparison to like these ones. And sound by a Wabi Sabi Sound, right? So they're a team like us. So yeah, pretty small crew. So you have this like studio, this apparent desire to work in a studio, and then just throw in, well, let's see your UE5 thing. What's this all about? Let's glance. It's so funny. It's like the same sound, but not the same image. It's like the exact middle ground. That's too bad. Let's get my side chain back on here. Yeah, hard cut into, what's wrong with this in UE5? Also, what is this? Okay, so I don't know what I'm watching yet, Hovig. It does sound cool though, so that is a benefit. So I probably would be okay with watching this for a bit, but around now, I want you to tell me what it is.
My name is
Cool.
Sarkissian, and this is my Unreal Engine 5 implementation demo using the Valley of the Ancient game and the new Metasound audio system. For this project, I fully redesigned all in-game sounds from scratch using a mix of recorded Foley.
Okay, yeah, I have seen this.
Metasound.
Is this yours I saw last? No. I'm getting you confused with Louise. I've not seen this. I've seen this like one time before, I think. Like this exact project. And I recall it being pretty, I think yours sounds better. I recall there being some pretty big issues with it.
Sarkissian, and this is my Unreal Engine 5 implementation demo using the Valley of the Ancient game and the new Metasound.
Yeah, like, dude, there's nothing wrong with putting this. This fits in your reel so well. It's not like this is a game jam with like pixel art or something. Like this is a perfect fit. Why not throw it in there? Be like, you know, what's it called? Valley of the Ancients? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Title, demo, like UE5 demo project in parentheses. And then you did what? You know, sound design, comma, implementation, comma, like Metasounds? Is that what it was?
My name is Hovig Sarkissian, and this is my Unreal Engine 5 implementation demo using the Valley of the Ancient game and the new Metasound audio system.
Yeah, Metasounds. Like, that's excellent. That just right away, I began saying this and I got derailed. So we always talk about this idea on Real Talk of there is somebody who's going to look at your demo reel and that person has limited time, big time. Their time is so limited. They have... And not just because they're like busy or something, but they are busy, but also they're staring down the barrel of like 1,000 freaking demo reels to go through, right? I mean, I'm exaggerating barely. It might be like 800 or 500 or something, but it's a lot. And the idea of doing the math and throwing 10 minutes into each of those demo reels, you know, let's just do some quick math here, right? 10 minutes times, let's call it 500. 500 reels, and let's divide that by 60. That is 83 hours of watching demo reels, you know, like straight with no consideration. It's like just you are watching for 10 minutes. There's no way you can devote 83 hours straight when the studio is hiring because they're busy right now. That's why they're hiring. So there isn't a ton of time available to be watching this stuff. You can assume that. So even a minute for each one, right? I mean, that's already over like what, 8 hours? So it's just there's like 8 hours of watching 1 minute demo reels. That's so much to look at, right? So this idea of, oh, well, they can just scroll down and watch something else. Dude, like realize this minute, the value of this minute is paramount. This is so important. This single minute might be all you get. And my argument is that there's just no downside to communicate more things in that minute. The idea of, okay, hey, listen, recruiter person, I know you have a checklist in front of you and you're looking for a person with X skills or whatever. And I'm going to check off the maximum number of things and maybe add some even pluses next to some of those checkboxes here and there while we're at it. To say, oh, well, they can just scroll down. Well, yes, but now we're into minute 2. And now it's 16 hours of looking at demo reels and not 8 hours, you know? Just the psychology of it is why I'm saying this. It's not that they can't just scroll down and look at this thing. Obviously they can. But even I had scrolled down previously and I didn't see it, you know? Because I wasn't thinking about that yet. If it just throw this thing, I mean, dude, you have almost 30 seconds of Metroid to start. Just don't have that much time. And throw in 12 seconds of your UE5 thing. You know, why not? Why not? Or even at the end, you know? Yeah, it fits. It fits really well. I was thinking you were worried you're using like the Unity Tanks demo or something, which, yeah, it's tough to throw into a hard-hitting demo reel, but it's fine. Throw it in there. You gotta. I just don't see a downside at all. And it sounds good from what I can tell. It sounded nice. So let's talk about some content stuff. I've been feeling lately like I want to change my headphones out actually, because these are M50s. And I had M40s previously, and the M50s are quite bright. And they're bright enough that I feel like I'm being lied to here and there. Like I've went back and while archiving some demo reel, like some real talk stuff into Twitch, I'll like, you know, choose like the start and end point and just highlight it. And in doing so, I'll like click through sometimes or see some things people clipped or whatever. And I'm like, man, that's bright. And I'm listening to it on my speakers. I'm like, it's not that bright. You know? I feel it. So I had M40Xs before and I really liked them. And yeah, I feel like I want to just maybe, I have a pair, but the hinge broke. It's like the common Audio-Technica thing, you know? But yeah, I kind of feel like I want to swap back out again. So if I feel like, I'm saying this because I feel like this whole demo reel is quite bright. And like it's missing like that bassy foundation in the lows. The thing is, they also represent bass very well. It's just that the frequency response is like woo up on the high end, so it's not. It just lies to you a little bit. So I just want to preface that by saying this did sound bright on the whole to me. This clip sounded quite well balanced on the impact, but everything before that I think still needs some love. God, this is a tricky thing because you definitely have a sound. Hovig, like you've got a sound for sure, but I think that's both a good and bad thing, you know. Also, it surprised me, like we've got your bio saying you love magic spells and stuff, and then the first thing we see is like Metroid, sci-fi, laser beams, etc. And then so this is spells, and this is spells, and this is spellish, yeah. And this is like a little more medieval, I suppose. So this is the one I was surprised you led with Metroid is all after I read your bio. But I suppose that people are unlikely to read your bio first, so not a big deal. 990s, huh? Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'll look into this. Appreciate that. So, intro sound is... fine. It's not amazing. It's like cymbal roll. Other cymbal roll, you know? It feels a little bit drag and droppy. It's nice to have some sound there, certainly. Way better than silence. It's a little designed, at least as far as like kind of being in the middle and end. It's not, I'm not like writing home about this, but it's fine. Yeah, I think it could be a little more interesting. And by interesting, I mean like have more syllables, you know? Does that make sense? Like, as opposed to like, or have various things happening. Yeah, just sort of ringing out. It's like not very interesting is all, right? But, and this is kind of the very first thing you're hearing. This is room, it's completely abstract, right? So you can do whatever you want. So it's kind of, when you were, I read your bio saying you love your magic spell sounds and so forth. I was kind of like, a bit let down from this sound because I was like, oh, it's just a symbol. Yeah, it's a nice sound. It's very effective. It is a important tool in any sound designer's tool belt. But for this moment of like, hey, this is my brand identity, it's just not very strong. You know, yeah. Okay, so here we go. Let's go. Yeah, Yanni, I mean, that's what I was getting at. So whether it's a style thing, I said that Hovig certainly has a sound. It's kind of a nice way of saying that the clips sound the same. Yeah, it's there's a lot of like, I would challenge you to, in fact, we should probably do it. I'm curious to, like, I know when this moment is. I think that God of War sounds probably quite different. Well, more, I get, man, it's like not that different though than like this. You know? Like it's a lot of really similar frequency range. A lot of really similar frequency range. And like frequency focus. You have this, it's a couple things going on. It's like frequency focus as far as like what areas you are, you're like hanging out in. It's a lot of like, a lot up there. And it's also envelope stuff. Like it seems like your, a lot of your sounds have, over time, it has like this shape. You know? Like we're hearing this like reverb tail, often. And I think you're leaning on it harder than you need to be, or even should be. And the thing is, it's dangerous. It's dangerous territory when someone who is looking to work in games, like none of these things are your projects, right? So you're an up and coming sound designer. You're looking to land commercial professional work. So if you, for example, were a like working freelancer sound designer or something, and you had a demo reel, and I think of someone like Jonas Turner, for instance. Jonas Turner has a sound, like has such an identity in the sound space for indie games. And if I were to watch Jonas Turner's demo reel, I'd be like, oh, I would get kind of what Jonas's sound is. I think I have a sound too, you know? I think that like people as they get more established in their careers and in their craft, they kind of find where they like to hang out. But the pitfall there is that if you're younger in your career, then it's easy to look at that kind of sound you have as not an identity, but rather a hurdle or like a limitation. So if I have a game, like I'm making the next Bloodborne game or whatever, and I'm looking to hire somebody, if I watch your reel, I might think, oh, that's their sound. That's all they can bring to the table. Whereas if you have developed your sound and you're freelancing or something, that's the kind of thing people will come to you for. Like, do you see the difference there? It becomes more marketable if it's deliberate and considered. Whereas if you're new, it's like, oh, well, have they advanced past this thing yet? It seems like this is kind of where they are and they're stuck here. So I would encourage you to, for example, a lot of these sounds like psh, psh, you have that psh. Why not psh, 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 you know? Just cut it off. No more. It's like, we'll listen through. There's a lot happening here. And yeah, so Oregon Freeman, nice handle, by the way. There's a marked absence of lows throughout. And also this Metroid clip, okay, there's a lot of things going on here, Hovig, but I think that you've done a lot of really good work here in terms of coverage and in terms of like imagination and stuff. I think that you can further dig into specifically what's happening. If you rewatch this stream, when I first watched your demo reel, I think there was a moment like around here or something where I did this. I was like, because I had no idea what was making the sounds you were playing. And I was like, is there a desync in my audio and video or something? Like, let's watch it again, this clip. There, like, what is happening? Even there too, that what was that? Is that this moment? Like, it's early if it's that moment. It's because the thing is, this subject matter and even presentation is quite anime, you know? Like, this look at the character and stuff is like, it's so extra, you know? Excuse me. So I think that, for example, I was really into the sound it makes when this character like swoops in and lands. It's like shing. It's all very anime, you know? And whew, it being like really wide, that whoosh, it's not like it's being sold to me that if I was standing there, that's what that would sound like. And I think that's an important thing to call out. It's not that you're choosing to like design this one-to-one as like a hyper real, if you were in the room, here's what you'd hear. It's not that. It's like a over the top extra. It's almost like there's sounds being dropped and like synced to things happening as opposed to being one-to-one, the sound of those things happening. So like this whoosh is a great example. We have this like super wide big filter sweep, kind of like it's like a peak sweep, or pitching perhaps. But I don't think it's me. Is there desync? Like, that landing happens for sure before we hear the sound, right? Like, we're landed, and that transient hasn't happened yet. Even there, it would take a second. It was like 2 or 3 frames, and then bam. So this needs to get tightened up. If it's your leading piece, Hovig, like there's some stuff here and there where the sync is just, I don't know if it's a video export issue, but even like this clip here with Samus's weapon, what's happening here? We got what? Okay, charging, and then kachik. that flash. Okay, two things. So that kachuk, that felt outside of the audio direction you'd established so far. It was like really kind of like mechanical and like it's like clicky articulations, whereas everything else so far has been like really like very quite generalized. And then we have and then this happens way before the shot happens. So we have a late impact here, and we have an early shot here. So I don't think this is a video issue. Like, unless is synced to like before this or something. Like, there's the flash. Chick. I just don't think it would sound like whoosh, whoosh. It's a charge up. Adding more power. It's not that the weapon is ready now. It's like we have some pulse, you know, on that moment. That it can't hurt. And then bam. Well, nothing's happening yet, Hovig. You know, this is still the same. So there's it led to considerable confusion for me when I was watching the clip for the first time. I was like, what are these sounds coming from? You know? Yeah, and then here, that clop, clop, clop of the feet were also a bit kind of outside of what you'd done so far, but... Yeah, so there's a lot of like... There's a lot of... Again, these headphones I recognize, but there's a lot of that happening across these clips, and I kind of like it because it's like really over the top, but like that moment, it's so crazy. And then shing, I like this is a good breath of fresh air, a little respite, you know? And then bam. And then again, push off, big sound. I like it. The crumbling is nice, and then the woof, 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 again is very like it's like a little bit silly, but I kind of like that it's silly. It's maybe not synced great though. So what I like doing for things like this, designing rotating objects is challenging. So you can do kind of two things based on what you're seeing. So if you've got, I'm gonna open Paint again. So if you have a thing that is shaped like this, yeah, it's shaped like that. So basically, this thing is gonna go around in a circle, and then back to here again, yeah? So we're like rotating around like this point or something. So if it's spinning quick versus slow, you can kind of, I'd either mark out this moment only. So it's like, woof. Sorry, I'll do this here so you can see. Like, woof, 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 right? So each time it hits this point. So I'd mark out that like position in the 360 rotation. Or if it's going slower, I might mark out this and this. It's like, woof, 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 that kind of thing, right? So with this, I don't feel like Samus is really doing either of those things. It's kind of just generalized. You know, it's just like a twirling, like rope whoosh thing, but it's very loose. Yeah, it's. So we have we have dudes jump away has a sound. There they go, but then Samus has nothing. And then they're suddenly whooshing. So we're kind of jumping into like the whoosh sound, but not the launch sound, you know? And then that sound has, this is like so just, it's so quick. Like Hovig, it feels like you need to kind of pull the crazy tail and like highs off some things and then add some to other things. Like this here should at least have some reverb, right? Like look at the space we're in. It's like, It's so dry compared to everything else we've heard so far. Like even that has a small reverb tail on it, you know? Okay, so, and what I was getting at previously too, is this like, this non-stop sound is kind of a disservice at times because you want to actually be calling out the moments throughout. I'm going to 108 already. Calling out the moments, like as you go through the storyline, yeah. And if it's just like constant, it's just constant that it's hard to like really let things breathe or call things out when they're important or even have them acknowledged when they're called out. Because if everything's called out and everything's loud, then it's just easy to kind of blur and your eyes glaze over, your ears glaze over, I guess, as a viewer / player. And so here we have this whooshing. So after this moment, you know, it just keeps going. Still, like it could be that if we were in the room, that would be what it sounded like. But I think for the sake of like ear fatigue concerns and also like narrative support concerns, I think you can probably like give room to breathe on some things like that shot. So big, sure, charging up and then. So here it's flying past, big shockwave. But like, is it still happening or is it a burst? Is it like, and we're just filling the room with this sound, or is it like, you know? And then more charging. There's not a lot of space between this shot and the next charge. It just keeps going, you know? Yeah, and it's just challenging. There's a lot happening in this scene, so you're kind of faced with like, is there a way to make this breathe a little more? It's not like the end of the world. This isn't the most brutal I've seen, for like not even close. But there's room to like dial things in a bit, you know. And the thing is, this is not. I'm spending a lot of time on this clip, but it's not exclusive to this clip at all. Like it goes across. I think Ori is the only one that really breathes a lot, and just because how it's built, right? But, well, I might be wrong. Let's watch the rest really quick here. Yeah, like even, yeah. So, yeah, Yanni, totally. Like, I mean, like I began this whole thing with, like I'm not just being nice, Hovig. Like, you've done a lot of really strong work here. You've done a lot of coverage. I think it just needs some tightening up here and there, and like sculpting, just to help. Yeah, so fast paced for attention's sake. Yeah, you don't want to lose attention. I get that, but if you go too far with it, it's almost like you need to find a balance. You know, if you go too far, then it's like this oral assault, and it's hard to pay attention when it's just like like forever, you know? So yeah, we're tasked with trying to find like space to let things breathe a bit, even if it's just like not and instead, you know? Or and like have lows rumble out as opposed to like just highs the whole time. So in this stuff, there's even room to like tighten up these hits a bit on God of War, probably. Like that's a great hit to start with. Like Ring of the Shield, big low thing. I love that frequency range there. So here it's like a 1-2, right? We have thwack thwack, slice and then slice again. Again, this is like not synced very tight because this happens at this kind of like VFX popping, right? And the next one happened there. We've already heard it, but nothing's happened yet. So what does that sync to? Like, that's the issue, is like there's a lot of it's like two things. It's letting things breathe, but also like putting things where they belong, you know? I appreciate you have a different impact for the butt of this spear rather than the front of it. It's good. Rather than slice. Whack. But even this whack, you know, it's about that shape. Just pull in that reverb, you know? I think it's easy to get stuck in this trap of like, oh, it's like so rich and sounds better. But when there's so much going on, if everything's got, then even the end here is the same thing, you know? Like those are, it's like so long. And the thing is, what's happened here is you're missing other stuff because this, it's got so much coverage that you're almost fooling yourself into thinking that it's designed fully. But there's like tons of Foley work here that you can still be designing. That whoosh is great of was it Tifa? Is that right? Tifa's like hand whooshes and stuff is good. There's some there, but like all in the middle here. Like all that movement, the jump, the flip, you have a lot of room for like whooshing different body parts and different kinds of whooshes, different magnitudes of whooshes, but it's like filling all that space. And again at the end. At the end as well, your own name. It's just so crazy, man. Again, the coverage is like, it's pretty solid. There's room for more detail for sure. But yeah, that kind of, this intro to Ori, I want to say is the last thing too. Like, yeah. I think, okay, so you're saying filter sweeps, you'll lay off them. I don't think you need to lay off filter sweeps. I don't think that's the issue. I think it's more of a like real estate thing. It's just taking up so much space. That, for example, is great right there. I hear you. I see you. It's great. But like this ice stuff, for instance. Like, do you hear it? Yeah, just there's a lot of room for lows that aren't here. One thing about this ice is it's like large, you know? It's big. But we hear it's like a lot of noise as opposed to look how big this thing is. It's huge. You know? This is like it's a canyon here. They're massive. These things are when you hear that come on, pass something to show magnitude. And even this arm. Here it comes. Big whoosh, huge arm. We hear the, but not the arm. The impact has some lows, but like not that much. This Ori impact has more. You know, that low should be in there too, for sure. So I think that I would urge you to recalibrate, to pull those highs down or just lean on them less often. And start thinking about weight, start thinking about that base foundation a lot more. Okay, so the last thing I want to say is, and this is why I wanted to say that filter sweeps aren't the issue, because they're great and I lean on them all the time. They're all over Tunic, they're all over Celeste. This here, you have a lot of space to play with the animation, like what's actually happening with this like infinity kind of shape, you know? And there is this generalized like kind of building up, but it's really generalized. Like if we don't look at the image and we just play this, you know, do we have an idea of the movement? You know, it's not really telling us anything. There's no real movement there. It's just and up top. There isn't really any indication of if things are moving, of how big the things are that are moving, what they're made of, like all that stuff, you know? So like just like throw a peak on an EQ, you know? Like if you have just like a big old EQ and you just like throw a peak like this, you know, or like this, and then you just move that back and forth, you know? It can't hurt. It goes a long way. And similar, kind of like, look at this thing. We have a start time of what here? So it starts here, it goes to there. So I'd choose this as like an extreme as far as this, like that's this point kind of thing, right? And then maybe this over here is also an extreme right there. So as it moves back and forth, it's like we have this kind of, so it's like we go up, and it's not like this. It could, I guess. I could, if you want it to. I'd probably go like, so up and down twice, for, you know, that kind of thing. It goes again. It goes more over here, bigger, over here again. So you can like go up higher yet, maybe add in some like twinkly stuff, delay it off when it hits this extreme. There's just also, as far as like choosing which frequencies are what, as far as this happening, there's like some VFX here, there's this thing moving around, of course. There's like this kind of swirling miasma as well. Like that has some space to have some bass perhaps. I love that you dropped off entirely and then again the impact is phenomenal. It's very, very Ori. Yeah. We covered a lot of ground there. I know we're just like I'm very verbose here. More than I need to be. Sorry, I know Luis is waiting so patiently. After I was like, hey man, come to the stream. I was like not talking about your stuff. I'm gonna move on, Hovig. I think that, again, you've done some really great work here. Just, you got to think about frequency stuff and timing stuff a lot. A lot. It's the biggest thing right now. And throw that UE5 demo in your reel. That's a big one. All right. Standing out in some positive way. I mean, yeah, I think that you've got a lot of great work you've done already. Just tightening up your brand stuff and everything we just talked about in the reel. There's even like, what is happening here? Is this an image? Why does this look different than this does? And like this too. Yeah, there's a lot of like kind of random brand stuff here. There's room to tighten things up a lot more. And the thing is, you've already done the work for a lot of this, you know? It's just presentation stuff. Just helps to really show that like, yeah, I'm serious. Look how much I'm maintaining my stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So just keep going, Hovig. Yeah? Thanks, pal. I'm going to do one of these right now. Click. It's kind of loud. Apologies. Thanks. Okay. Luis, thank you so much. V2, let's go. We got game audio, sound design reel, demo reel about portfolio. Short and sweet. Implementation reel, okay. Dialogue, localization reel. All right. And then, oh, this is still, I thought here it was a vertical page. It is not. These are different pages. Excuse me. Oh, I recognize you. Yes. Hey there. I am Luis Menchaca, a sound design enthusiast and dialogue editor. Wait a second. Okay. Never mind. With a deep love for video games. I hold a BS in digital music production engineering from the ITESM, Mexico. During my semester exchange program at Griffith University in the Queensland Conservatory, Australia, I got hooked and discovered the incredible impact of game audio on player engagement. Indeed. Since then, my focus has been entirely dedicated to mastering the art of game audio. Okay. Oh, it's quite long. My experience includes working in dubbing studios and being part of the dialogue localization team for video games at Keywords. Nice. These experiences have allowed me to contribute to awe-inspiring projects and expand my skill set. I have recently completed a master's degree in sound and music for interactive games at Leeds Beckett University, UK. You've been all over, my friend. My goodness. This program allowed me to enhance my skills and connect with fellow enthusiasts. I am currently seeking to join a game audio team in a game development studio. For me, the true essence lies in the art of story. True essence? The true essence lies in the art of storytelling and the creation, the essence of what? And the creation of immersive experiences through sound. The true essence. I think essence is like of something, is it not? Essence of storytelling? This sentence confuses me. I think what you were saying, though. I derive immense satisfaction from using sound to weave narratives and transport players into the heart of the game world. This is very generic. Moving on. In addition to this, I love integrating synthesis in my sound design work, particularly when creating sci-fi elements. Okay, we had magic spells, now sci-fi. I have a genuine thirst for learning, a passion for sharing my skills, and thrive. Oh, okay, this is a noun. This is a noun, and this is a verb. So this sentence is going to be edited. And thrive when collaborating within a creative team. Outside of work, I enjoy diving into video games, staying updated with the latest developments in game audio, and spending my free time playing the guitar and charango. Cool. Yeah, like this kind of thing. I mean, your bio's already long-ish, Luis. This stuff I always suggest leaning away from. Like that this could be in literally anyone's bio, you know? It's not unique to you. Whereas like you love integrating synthesis into your work and you like doing sci-fi stuff. That is you. This is more you, you know? And like this is kind of also generic-ish. I think most people applying to a job would claim they like to learn. They have a passion for sharing. It's like it's not as generic as like I have a passion for game audio. That's the most generic thing in the world. But this is just it's not really adding anything. I think that you can get that across in other ways. And it's cool. Yeah, there's a lot about you specifically, like the keywords thing, all the schooling. Cool. It's a pretty dense bio. Good. Okay, and fun images that are very audio-ish. This is less so, but it's nerdy, so there is that. Cool. Favorite games. Banjo-Kazooie. Majora's Mask. Last of Us. New Horizons. Stray. Hollow Knight. Takes Two. Favorite for sound. Some bangers in here. Definitely. Control is, chef's kiss. It's so good. Ridiculous. Love that game. Credits. Good stuff. You've been doing it. Fortnite. Oh no. Fortnite. The the mobile knockoff. Fortnite, I believe you're going for there. Also, let me see here. I'm pretty sure there's a colon right here as well. Like this, you know? Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. Yeah, just think about like the presentation of names. It can't hurt. Even like this also is a colon. I'm typing into Google right now and seeing it. I believe this might be a colon. I believe this is all caps Doom. You know, just do a quick glance at the exact presentation of all these names because it just shows, careful careful, caution and respect to your projects and so forth, can't hurt. Okay, portfolio. Audio, implementation, sound design, game jams. Okay, what's going on here? What the heck? Oh, I see. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit. This is quite zoomed. Okay, so that's fine. All right, implementation. Sound design? Oh, I see. Tunic sound redesign. Holy, let's go. My lord. Oh, have I seen this actually? I may have. I'm not gonna watch it right now though. We'll get there. Also, burrower and then borrower. Is it borrowing or is it burrowing? That's the question. It's just going to the bank for a loan. The borrower. Yeah, be careful of your typos, Luis. It's on your past reel. Okay, yeah, I feel like I as soon as it started, I was like, I feel like I've seen this. A lot of things here. Jeez, a lot of things here. Holy. A lot of things. I think that there's so many things that you might you might want to trim it down as far as like how you present it, because this is hard to look at. Sound like sound redesign. These are all redesigns, right? Redesign. Sound redesign. Yeah. I think you can probably have like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4 down the page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., etc. It's just like this is a lot of blank space. See, like this space here. Also, this is right up against the video, and this is not. There's something happening at that top. This is way over here. What the heck? Yeah. It's there's just a lot of blank space here. It's a whole lot, Luis. In-game sound redesign short clip. Yeah, especially considering how little you're saying with this additional text. I kind of like seeing it in general. It's nice to use this space as a way to like talk about the redesign a bit. Like this is getting there, using library sounds and synth as main sources. Just saying, Metroid Dread sound redesign. This is a Metroid Dread sound redesign. It's the same thing. It's just a waste of space. So this is saying nothing, and then like all this space is just empty, So just think about layout stuff. Game jams. Glitched out. This was made for the Major Jam 4. Oh, no period. It is a space shooter where you can glitch the game out and use time stop, glitch dash, and other. And other? Other what? You can buy cheats from the Shady Trader to break the game. That's cool. All right. Oh, what's happening here? Is this due to zooming in? This is also strange. Look at this. It's like, why is this here? It's overlaid on top of the image. Oh, it's not a video also. It's just, or is it? Is it supposed to be a video? I don't know what's happening there. Or is it like a link to the Game Jam page? Game Dev, yeah, okay, it's the H page. Cool. I think saying what you did is more important here than what the thing is. Like, the more kills you get, the harder it gets. I mean, okay. I think in terms of the time it takes to read this, I learned about glitched out, but I didn't learn about what you did. I would like to know a little more about that, This feels very salesy, And like we're guilty of that too. Like for powerupaudio.com, there it is. If you go to our page, it's like the Necro Dancer's back in a brand new rhythm game spin-off. Help Cadence navigate the modern world while repairing the rifts that have torn her life apart. Do rhythmic battle via rift mode, mini games, and boss battles. Like it's very salesy, right? But then beneath that, it's like, we did this. You know, we're working with Danny B and guest composers. Just like we have this like kind of format. It's like, yeah, we're saying what the project is in a quick blurb and then like what we did, you know? And here we're only getting the sales pitch and not what you did. Couldn't hurt. And like all these have the same thing too. They just say, it says like sound design music, but like, you know, I'd like to know more about this project than just the pitch. Okay, so let's go see your demo reel. Let's do it. Hold up, and my sidechain is off. And let's go. I was in the classic embed poor quality thing, right? 1080p, please. Yeah. Pretty sick. Pretty sick. And go. All right, sidechain on. It's loud clapping, sorry. Fun transitions. Nice water, by the way. This is great. Sick. Sick transition. Man, that's so sexy. Oh, how'd you know, Luis? You make me so happy. Killer. Yeah, very fun transitions. I think that the gun one was interesting too here. I think it's just unfortunate that this gun sounds like this gun. I think transitioning from gun into gun is a cool moment and seems obviously, like it seems like you chose to do that. But they just sound the same and they're quite different. So if I close my eyes, I can't hear the transition, you know? Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that. Well, we have already said it. We don't need to say it again. Let's talk about presentation 108. I was glued. Were you glued? I feel like you were glued. I imagine you were. I think there was some moments. It's the issues here for me are largely content stuff, like design choices and things like that. But yeah, I mean, you obviously put a lot of time into this. Nice work. I feel like I almost want to dive directly into content quality stuff, Luis, because we talked about your website a little bit as far as presentation things. I think content would be the best use of our time here, especially because it's V2.0 for you. Yeah, I think you've made a lot of changes that, I mean, yeah, the package is great. Just a matter of what you're showing us. So let's see here. Would lower thirds work for a widescreen clip? I mean, I think so. I think it's fine here. You know, I don't think it matters. I mean, that one's widescreen right there. See? It's still not moving. Yeah, I don't think it matters that much. Although if maybe in your clip selection, just to make it more consistent as far as content that you are designing it against, zoom in a bit, or like don't use a widescreen clip. You know, just sort of zoom in so this is here and this is here. It's an option. Content stuff. Okay, so the opening clip, I want to do a little exercise here with you. So I want us all to like snap or do this, or even just like blink hard, anything to indicate when you think there was a camera change. Okay? A change in perspective. So we're going from like a wide shot to a close shot on our hero running or whatever, okay? So let's do it. I'm gonna also close my eyes, all right? I can see it in front of me. I won't watch it. So 3, 2, 1, and. Like, I don't hear a single one. I thought I'd hear one at least. I heard 0 changes. So I'm not trying to be mean here. I honestly was, because I'd seen the clip, of course, right? So I was trying to wait till I could like hear it and see it in my head, and I heard 0 clip changes there. It's so important, Louise. Like, we gotta hear that. So a big one is if you're wide and the thing that we're hearing is farther away, we're gonna hear less detail in that, right? It'll be kind of more generalized, rustling, whatever, big chunky footsteps. But then if we're way up close, we're gonna hear things like the specific materials involved and like little jingles of zippers or buckles or whatever. We're gonna hear things like the individual stones and grass and sticks snapping and splotches and so forth under the footfalls. There's also more. A big thing to consider is proximity effect, which is that the phenomena where if you get closer to a sound source, you get more low end in the content, right? Compared to over here, we get more low as I get close, right? So having more like more of that base foundation for those close shots can be a big thing too. We have like this shot here right up in their face, and here is like, look how close we are, so close. Just having that EQ differentiation across different clips can go so far. And even like volume stuff, if we're way up close, like bam, big hit here. Excuse me. Yeah, the feet, the Foley just kind of never changes. Like, it's always the same intensity, same sound through the whole clip. Like here. So also think about what the camera's looking at, right? Again, our role as sound designers is to support the narrative and support what is being presented on screen. In this case, the shot is, in this first bit, we have our hero running, waist to head, right? So in this case, we're going to hear a lot of like general Foley running stuff. Next up, we have, I'm muted actually. Next we have feet. So shows we are booking in. And here's the terrain we're running over, you know? That's what this story is saying. We're not running over like pavement or something. This is challenging terrain. So what's the terrain made of? We have some stones, some tall grass here and there, some moss, who knows? But this shot is about the feet, right? It's about the terrain. So the thing is, this should sound different than that previous clip. This clip is, yes, we're running. And now here, this clip is, what are we running on? So we're going to bring that way up in the mix. You want to hear those like individual strands of grass breaking and so forth, right? And then we have that zap, sure. We have more running, general, more running, general. And way up close now. Now, what is this on the back? You know, what's that thing? Maybe we even hear like the sound of the thing on the back specific, like bring that up in the mix. The cargo, you know? And whack. We have a big stumble there. That stumble's pretty important to hear. Do we hear it? Not really. We hear it in the voice, but overall, the Foley is kind of unchanged. We don't really hear any scuff or catching himself or anything like that, you know? And here as well, we have, there's a lot of... In this case, we don't really hear the material on this thing. We don't really hear it way up close to the camera. Look how close it is to the camera here. This is all we care about right now. We should be hearing nothing but this. It should be dominant in the mix, you know? It's like really, I would really encourage you to dig into specifically what each clip in a given sequence is communicating to us. Like, think about that conceptually as opposed to simply, hey, he's running for a long time, right? Because yeah, he is. But you got a lot of room to further inform the viewer / player what's happening in this world, you know? I mean, you know, if you've played Death Stranding, you might know some of what's happening here. You might know like what's in the cargo. You might know what the ground's made of, like what these guys' deal is, all these things. But if you are just tasked with doing this, I mean, you can just, what's in here? What's it full of? Who knows? Wind chimes? Full of wind chimes? Hear him clanking around in there? It's full of crowbars? Yeah, there's this room to, like, what's this thing weigh? That's something else too. I mean, even having it be heavy further informs us what hard work this is carrying these things around, you know? There's like a lot of room you can like further kind of world build more than just, it sounds like something, you know? A really quick clip, a bit challenging to keep track of what's happening. It's kind of cool. I think this is also a room where you can kind of pull things down here and there to make room for larger things to become part of the main story. Like, the water's the big thing here, right? The water's like the whole time. Like really hit the big splashes and then kind of pull back because we know it's water right away. Like the water's established. We don't really learn anything more by keeping water up in the mix. It's like think about the water as far as like, if we're standing there, the water might be going crazy and just super turbulent the entire time. But maybe think about the action versus like action versus no action and just like do this, you know? So when there's a big sploosh, go pull it way up compared to what it would be usually. And when there's no action, pull it down. And that just leaves room to breathe for everything else in the shot too, right? It's a lot of water in that clip, a whole lot. There's probably room to, I imagine, I wouldn't be surprised if you've designed things I just can't hear even, you know? Because there's like, it is a challenging clip to design for sure. And it's so short too, it's hard to kind of get our foothold. But yeah, there's probably room. I mean, it's the kind of thing where you designed it, so you probably even hear things that we might not hear because you just know it's there. So yeah, you probably have room to even like switch up like the frequency focus of splashing. Like if it's a big roll, big like plunge into water as opposed to, you know, might be a move too. Again, the water here, there's a lot of water in this clip. It might be the headphones, I don't know. But look at the water movement. There's so much splashing. So much. It's really competing with everything else you've done in this mix. And the whole point of this is they're being stealthy, right? If they're being out of sight. I mean, it's open gunfire now, of course, so much stealth happening. But in terms of like why they're in the water, or like look at the water, it's just lapping. It's barely moving. That's a great time for you to differentiate between that last clip. So we emerge from the water, and suddenly it's not monsters duking it out. It is calm. Tranquil water, some lapping with gunfire. It's a big juxtaposition, you know? Yeah, there's so much water in that clip. At the very end especially, like at the end here. And this, like from zooming in here, like from the sights, not zooming in, but like having the sights up, from this point forwards, this clip is not about water at all. We barely even see it. We're in there, sure, but it's about what's happening in front of us. Yeah. Cool clip, apart from the gun. I think the gun just needs to be more, well, just different than the previous clip, that's all. Was this in your last reel? I recall this clip. Yeah, similar here too. The ambience is quite like there, the ambience comes up so much, or it just is there all the time. And again, it's like if you were there, sure, you might hear that city wash all around you, but it's just not what the clip is about, you know? It might be worth having that to establish. But like that, yeah, unless the ambience is relevant to the story, like we hear sirens approaching or something, you can probably bring it down and just leave more space for everything else you've worked so hard on, you know? Yeah, here too, this change in perspective can go a long way. Like this, I don't super hear that it's like right in our face. And again, pulling that bass in, pulling more detail, even like more screeching up high, just more intensity from that previous bit to this bit can go a long way. And things like pulling other things out of the mix to make space for that can work so effectively. And I mean, yeah, pulling ambience down to make space for this thing, pull it way up. This is such a big moment gameplay-wise. Again, screen filling, right? It's huge. So why not kill off everything else in the mix while it's happening? Yeah, there's room to really pump the dynamics there. Crank it up. Here. Sorry. So there's some stuff at left and right here during the rising up. It's like that moment's so good, right? From all this action through the door open. And it's quiet, you know? So one thing though, is there's so much action here. Maybe my suspicion is this, and you can tell me if I'm right or not. My suspicion is that you were going for like a, there is some ancient spirit, whatever ghost thing being vanquished here or something. And as it's happening, it's big and magical and overwhelming, and therefore we hear it all around us. Yes? Is that what we're going for? Yeah, I'm not super sold on it is all. I think that the envelope over time is kind of like incongruent with what's happening in front of us. Because what happens here? We got a dude coming for us. We're like, no, we got a lantern thing, and it's gonna tear you. It's gonna move you into the air and like, zoom, you're done, and then falls away, right? So it's like it is a rising thing. There's a bit of a action moment at the beginning. Bam, a clash, hit, a pushback, kick back into the door, and then out comes the lantern. Whoa, right? So from this moment, it's like it's a peak in the story because the lantern's a new thing. There's a change, right? So change is worth noting. So it's a peak. And then over time, it's a slow rise. I'm going to mute this. Slow rise. So there's a bit of a pump there. It's like back and then up. It's like, right? So it's like that like little change, that little down is a nice little peak also. And I note that. And then rise and so sword goes in and they're done. So that in between time is worth considering because it's like magic is happening, right? But the thing is that noise of it like rising up is kind of louder than everything around it, you know? And I would argue that rising is the in-between part. The lantern out and the eventual kill, those are the important parts. And the stuff in between is just connective tissue. But it's pretty loud, you know? Like we barely even hear that ending. Close your eyes, we don't super hear that a death even happened. You know? That door coming open. Yeah, this moment at the end is just sort of underserved. Like this, look at this space. Ancient, untouched, ruined, cavernous, massive. But this door here, it's like, you know, where is the next danger? What lies ahead? And this door opening is pretty significant. Ba-doom. You know, like what are we disturbed here? And this body falls out. The door slams open. Listen to the reverb though. It's gone. The thing we hear most of is that like the kind of ambience here. That stuff, you know? My argument is that I think that this moment is way more about the absence of anything. This door opens. Maybe we hear like a distant something happening. You know, that thing can echo out forever, being like, this is a huge space. Danger could lurk anywhere. Like, that's what we're selling in this moment, you know? And even this moment, like, this is kind of, there's this, again, dynamics, dude. Like, we have this established bed, and then something happens next, boom, it's bumped up. But if the bed's lower, when this happens, it's way more significant. We walk into this thing, and then it's so dramatic by comparison. That very first crack of the arm falling down, right? Like, that should be the first thing we hear. Bam. Crack and whoosh. But it's a lot of like cinematic, spooky, eerie ambient stuff. But I think you can get more done with less, you know? That's my opinion, at least. It's definitely very subjective, but I think this is the last piece, and this is so fun to design too, you know? We have this big combat accent followed by nothingness, and then into your final splash. It's a great clip, super cool. I haven't seen that one before. just room to really dig into the story more. It's kind of a repeating theme here, you know, just to really think about what is actually happening conceptually in terms of narrative stuff and design to that, as opposed to just what you're seeing, you know? Because, yeah, if you just design what you see, you can often kind of miss the point as far as, like, what even is the story here, you know? But, I mean, yeah, you've obviously been putting a lot of work in, and there's a lot of really solid stuff here, at least. This is like a strong junior candidate kind of thing happening here. So really, really good. Keep it going. Tighten up your presentation a bit, you know? But otherwise, solid. Nice V2. Very nice. I'm going to Alt-Tab and do one of these. Nice. We'll call it right there. Heavy content conversation there. Hope it's all right. Kind of as I assumed it would be. Thanks all. We're going to wrap it up right there. I'm going to go ahead and play this theme again because it's a banger. All right. And of course, as always, if you have any further questions or anything, Luis, Hovig, feel free to hit me up. Happy to help if I can, you know? And, oh, Isla's. One of her many beds. Passed out. Okay, great, Sean. Good to hear. I'm glad you're always here. I'm glad you're still learning something. I feel like you're here all the time. Thanks, everyone. And yeah, next stream is what? It's the 7th, I believe? Yeah, December 7th. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. And I'm doing back-to-back streams in December also, since it's like a short month. So 7th and 14th, we got streams. Okay. And I have a lot of scheduling to do also. I think we have like 8 or 10 people or something in the backlog. I gotta slot in. So thanks everyone. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Cheers.